Welcome back to Learning English with Lily. Recently I was asked to do a grammar class and I thought, okay, I haven't done one for a while, so I racked my brains for a good piece of grammar to cover. Rack your brains is a wonderful expression which means think long and hard about something. So I racked my brains and came up with a grammar point that I'm hoping you'll find extremely useful. It's one that many students get wrong, used to. And this is because there are two different structures with used to. First of all, we have used to plus infinitive, so used to do. And then we also have be or get used to plus gerund, so the ing form. Be or get used to doing. Now, these structures are very common. We use them a lot in everyday English, but unfortunately, students confuse them all the time. And that's not surprising. They look so similar. However, they actually have very different uses. So if you always get confused by used to, I used to go to bed early, or I'm used to going to bed early, or I got used to going to bed early. Then keep watching. Okay, let's start with used to plus infinitive. First of all, we don't use it to talk about the present or the future. We only use it to talk about the past. So used to plus infinitive refers to a repeated action, a habit, or a state in the past that is no longer true. I used to eat meat, but now I'm a vegetarian. I used to have long hair, but recently I cut it short. Okay, one thing you need to know is that the negative and question forms, so for example, I didn't used to be a vegetarian, or did you used to have long hair? Used does not have a D at the end, okay? As with any past simple negative statements or questions, the auxiliary verb did is in the past, and we can't have two past forms together. The pronunciation, however, is exactly the same. I used to have long hair. I didn't used to have short hair. And that's because in the positive statement, there's a D sound next to a T sound. And so to make it easier to say, we actually drop the D sound at the end of used. I used to have, used to have. For a more detailed explanation of this pronunciation feature and other pronunciation tips to sound more native, you can check out the very useful class above. Okay, on to be or get used to plus gerund or noun. So yeah, remember that instead of the ing form, you could also have a thing, a noun. The first thing to understand is that this structure can be put into the past, present, future, conditional, whatever. So used to plus infinitive only talks about the past, but be or get used to plus gerund or noun can be in any tense or form. Also, we never drop the D in used. This is because we conjugate the verbs be or get. So the verbs be or get show us what tense or form we're using. The rest of the structure stays the same. And there's a big difference in meaning. If you are used to something, you are familiar with it because you've done it many times. So a synonym is be accustomed to something. It's not something new, it's something familiar. So now let's look at the difference between using be and using get. Okay, be talks about the state of being familiar with something. I'm a nurse and I often work night shifts, so I am used to sleeping during the day, or I'm used to sleeping during the day. It means right now this feeling is familiar to me. We can put that in the past. When I was a nurse and worked night shifts, I was used to sleeping during the day. It means that at that time in my life, that action, sleeping during the day, was familiar to me. Get is all about the process of something becoming familiar. So I could say, I'm a nurse and I work night shifts, and it took me a while, but eventually I got used to sleeping during the day. So now I'm used to it. Okay, first of all, I'm referring to the process of becoming accustomed to it, and then I'm referring to the state of being accustomed to it now. If I'm a newly qualified nurse and someone says to me, "What's it like working night shift?" I could reply, "Well, it's weird because you work all night and you get home and you need to sleep, but it's light outside and everyone else is awake. So yeah, it's hard, but I guess I'm getting used to it." So there I've used get in the present continuous to show that I'm in the middle of that process of becoming accustomed to it. Soon I will be used to it, but right now I'm still getting used to it. Okay, I hope that's clear for you guys. Let's do a quick recap. Used to plus infinitive is for states or habits in the past, only in the past. And remember, don't write D at the end of use if you have a question or a negative statement. But it sounds the same. I used to, I didn't used to, did you used to. Be or get used to plus gerund or noun refers to the state of being or the process of becoming accustomed to something. Be refers to the state, get refers to the process. And use always has a D, okay? The only things that change in the structure are the verbs be or get. Okay, let's practice. Choose the correct option. I used to have, was used to having, or got used to having a dog called Millie, but she died a few years ago. I used to have a dog called Millie, but she died a few years ago. So here we're talking about a past state that is no longer true. I had a dog for a while, but I no longer have one. Okay, next one. I'm looking after my neighbour's dog, but I didn't used to have, I'm not used to having, or don't get used to having a dog, and I'm finding it hard. I'm looking after my neighbour's dog, but I'm not used to having a dog and I'm finding it hard. Okay, so here I'm saying that I'm not familiar with having a dog around, so I'm finding it hard to look after my neighbour's dog. We use be because we're talking about a state, not a process. Okay, last one. I got a dog last month and it was really difficult to look after her at first, but I'm getting used to it, or being used to it, or used to do it. I got a dog last month and it was really difficult to look after her at first, but I'm getting used to it. Here you're referring to the process of becoming familiar with having a dog. So you use get used to. Well done, everyone. I hope that wasn't too complicated. Please feel free to leave a comment with any questions you might have about the different used to structures. Please do subscribe and like and share this video if you think it will be useful. Thanks for watching and I'll see you soon.